The Tantra of Subāhu's Questions. Chapter 1. Homage to the Omniscient One. Subāhu paid respectful homage to the Lord of Yakshas, brilliant like 1,000 suns, and deeply immersed in compassion. Then asked him how to master the collections of vajra and mantra. I have not seen anyone on earth who has reached perfection through persistence in recitation, fasting, or restrictive austerities. Soul Father, do austerities not serve any purpose? Your Eminence, you are as brilliant as sunfire, supreme among those who purify and destroy evil. If you spoke words of truth, why have the mantras not borne fruit? People superior, middling, and inferior have practiced, but even still have found no results through mantra. If preparatory rites accomplish nothing at all, accomplishment is only affliction. So what is the point? If the victor previously taught pacifying wisdom to soothe afflictions, how then are they relieved when mantra and vidya are not mastered? Out of compassion, you explained myriad mantras meant to heal beings. How could they not be accomplished through recitation, homa, the observances, and preparatory rites? Are the rites corrupt or devoid of power? Was the timing correct? Did evil interfere? Were the mantras altered? Were the offerings switched? May the Blessed One tell all, omitting nothing. After listening to the words of his child, the vajra holder reflected for a moment, opened his long eyes, brandished a flaming vajra, and spoke these words. Wonderful that you ask these questions that serve beings, moved by compassion radiant as moonlight. With such a pristine state of mind, you will reach perfection among the Sugata's children. Bodhisattvas are not attached to their own happiness, nor are they crushed by their own sufferings. They suffer because others suffer, and find joy in others' happiness. Child, because of your good nature, you posed these questions to benefit beings. Quickly then, focus your attention and listen, as I will answer in accord with the scriptures of mantra. I will first explain the observances. For the mantra recitations I previously taught. A practitioner should first arouse faith in the Sugata, and with that, arouse bodhicitta. They should cast aside greed, arrogance, and conceit, and faithfully serve the three jewels. They should delight in and have faith in me, and in what is widely known as the Vajra clan. They should consistently forsake harsh speech, slander, and useless talk, visiting the woman of another, lying, stealing, killing, doing harm, and using alcohol. A deluded person who gathers the merit of body, speech, and mind will destroy it through their wrong views and experience the ripening of unwanted results. Just as a burnt seed will never produce a sprout, even if given soil, water, and time, a mind ruined by wrong views and ignorance will not give rise to virtuous qualities. Thus, wrong views should be cast aside, and the correct view adhered to. It is best if the mind always follows the Dharma path of the 10 virtues. Devas, asuras, pishachas, and herukas, and all the terrible creatures of the night, move through the world, harming beings, and distracting those move through the night harming beings and distracting those intent on recitation. Because they are a countermeasure against them, when these beings see my collection of mantra and vidya, they grow anxious, thinking, this is terrifying, and distract the mind from recitation. In the maṇḍalas I have taught to crush harm-doers and enrich oneself reside devas and asuras who, according to Samaya, keep watch over meritorious deeds. Where the myriad types of grahas are present, there are mandalas that employ various activities that are intended to crush these harmful beings. People should strive hard to enter them. They should use the mandalas taught in the Vajrapāṇi Tantra, as well as the mandalas of wrathful deities. There I have explained the various samayas, so study them carefully to dispel evil. When they observe the recitation of the main goddess of the Vajra clan, whom the host of duties and the many vijas serve, the obstructors will be ruined, filled with fear and rage. To the extent one beholds the mandala, one serves the Vajra clan. The merit of serving the host of vijas causes all their blessings to enter one's body. Devas, nagas, asuras, yakshas, and siddhas will flee in fear from those reciting. Upon seeing their invulnerable Vajra nature, and believing the whole area to burn with Vajra fire. Those of my children who observe Samaya will easily succeed in using mantras taught by the mundane and transcendent. All obstructors will be brought to ruin. If they do not see the vija or observe Samaya, if they lack compassion or do not arouse bodhicitta, if they lack faith in the Buddha and rely on other deities, recitation of my mantras will bring them to ruin. If those unable to look upon any of these mandalas because they are disheartened and lack the means, instead view just one among the mandalas with faith, while maintaining their observances, the host of yakshas and creatures of the night, nagas, and all the grahas that float above the ground, devas and the like, vignas and vinayakas, will find no chance to harm them. Just as any crop depends on its soil to grow up free from blight, it is in dependence on discipline that virtuous deeds grow, watered with compassion. From the complete Vinaya, the pure discipline of pratimoksha, taught with certainty by the victor, a householder mantrin should abandon the outer signs and rites, and train in all the rest. Thus freed from non-virtuous dharma, they are imbued with the Sugata's eloquent dharma, which is pure and brings liberation. When weary of recitation, they should read scripture to purify non-virtue they should continuously erect in a clean and secluded place, chaityas to the Sugata, made of either sand or clay, that contain the essence of dependent arising. Before relic-filled chaityas and statues, they should sing praise and offer fragrances, garlands, and lamps. With deep faith, they should perform worship, using parasols, banners, flags, and music. A one-wheeled chariot will never move along a path, even when harnessed to a horse. Neither will a practitioner lacking an assistant gain siddhi in this life. Such assistants are intelligent, attractive, and fastidiously clean. They hail from a venerable line and are inclined toward Dharma. They are eloquent, courageous, have tamed their senses, and are pleasant of speech, generous and compassionate. Patient in the face of hunger, thirst, and emotions, they do not worship Brahmins or other gods. They are enthusiastic, skilled in the arts, talented, and have faith in the three jewels. Someone with all these good qualities is rare to find in this age of strife. A mantrin should thus rely on an assistant with half, a quarter, or even an eighth of these qualities. This was the first chapter of the noble Subāhu's questions. Chapter 2. Places of Pratyeka Buddhas and the Sugata's heirs, those where the victor previously lived, places that are pleasant and steeped in merit, or venerated by devas and asuras, Those with vows purified through the restoration rite should perform the approach in order to purify themselves. If such places are not to be found, there are others. Accessible rivers, brooks and streams, lakes adorned with lotuses and utpalas, places unfrequented by people, or those abundant with clean water, places unknown to terrible grahas, those with fresh flowers and fruit, rich in medicinal plants, or thick with different trees, places with clean spots to sleep upon the ground, those free of tiger, leopard, and lion, or places pleasing, level, and without brambles. These are places people celebrate for siddhi. Avoid places with ravines, anthills, ash or hair, rubbish, charcoal, salt deposits, or excrement. The earth should be excavated and a hut built there, one that is warm, strong, and plastered with clay. The door can be to the east, north, or west, but should never face to the south. To one side of the shrine chamber, hang the cloth image to be used in the rite, one showing the victor revealing the sublime path, or set out a beautiful wooden image to worship. A cloth image will grant a person siddhi when a weaver weaves it soft and smooth, when it is tightly woven and free of hairs, properly proportioned, undamaged, and with its fringe intact. On that cloth, sprinkled with clean, fragrant water, persons bathed, clean, and observing posthada should use pigment from clean pots and free of cow bile to artfully draw, using hair from a cow. Abundant offerings should be made to the image, offerings of garlands, incense, lamps, food, and fragrance. It should be set up securely facing west. In its presence they begin their quest for siddhi. Their hair should be tied in a top knot and shaved, and the color of their clothes changed with mineral dyes. They should wear either white garb or clothing made of leaves, hemp, flax, or bark. They should hold an attractive alms bowl, one made from gourd, iron, or clay. It should be shapely, not rough but smooth, and be undamaged, round, and free of cracks and holes. They should live near a pleasant town, not too close or too far, where food and drink are available and Shudras predominate. It should be hospitable to guests and without Brahmins of other traditions. Brahmins overcome with pride are arrogant about their lineage and lack compassion. They create problems whenever they see people worshipping at shrines to the Sugata. How are Brahmins inferior to the Buddha's followers? They say those of the Shudra caste exist to serve and venerate Brahmins. How could Shudras ever be fit to recite mantra? We worship gods and guests, perform the 6 activities, serve the king and the god of fire, and do what we must for our sons. This is what concerns Brahmins. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas also do their duty. Therefore, do not harbor any doubt. Speaking a slew of deceptive fallacies, they burn their minds and the minds of others. Upholders of the Eightfold Path should always take their food before noon. Brahmins eat in the afternoon, so do not visit a Brahmin's home then. For those who understand virtue and non-virtue, there is no difference between a Brahmin and a Shudra. A person may think, this is a Brahmin, this is a Shudra, but those are concepts, nothing more. By focusing on the true path and following virtue, Shudras too will pass beyond aging and death. By following a false path and behaving badly, Brahmins too will fall into unbearable hells. Those who are embodied, rife with impurity, cannot now be made pure by some other means. They are cleansed by ridding themselves of evil and embracing only the meritorious. Just as medicines are given to the ill to allay and heal their ailments, the victor taught that eating food is meant to dispel the pains of hunger. Base-minded yogis should not eat while obsessed with their longevity, as if a weary traveller beset with hunger and thirst, who consumes the flesh of their own child. When too much is added, a scale rises effortlessly. Too little, and it likewise falls. When proportionate, it instantly comes into balance. This is how an embodied being should eat their food. A person will set a sturdy pillar, for example, to keep an old house from collapsing. So too, food stabilizes the machine of the body, and is like grease for a chariot's axle. Food perpetuates the desire realm. So said the victor in one of his teachings. One should know the body to be like a plantain tree. Thus the mind should not desire food, drink, and the like. Using knowledge gained from the words of the Sugata, one should guard against the interactions of the 6 senses and sense objects. Taking up one of the various kinds of alms bowls, one should go for alms, gazing a plough's length ahead. Smiling as she walks, speaking with sidelong glances, her shapely body captivates the mind. A woman's body strikes like a weapon, stealing away men's minds. Better that he covers his eyes with a red-hot iron ploughshare, than to look upon the long eyes of a woman, which cause his mindfulness to come undone. One goes where they please, free of clinging, with their minds mentally disciplined, rejecting concerns of high, middling, or otherwise. They go to other people's homes in silence. Wherever there are calves and young cows, wherever people are drinking alcohol, wherever young women serve and play, wherever young men sport, at any feast where dog meat is served, wherever many people gather, and wherever music is played, there a person should never go. They should return, bringing all the alms received, and share the first portion as they please. After washing their feet, they should give some to guests, then eat the food to care for their body. After eating at the appropriate time and bathing on the 3 occasions, they should make offerings of garlands, lamps, and incense, sing praises, and present food that is free of meat and alcohol. Mantrins then sit on a mat of kusha grass and recite. If incense, fragrant unguents, and the rest are not available, they should offer a variety of fragrant flowers, but avoid buka, arka-bilva, brihati, and kusha, as they smell bad and are unappealing. When standing, seated, lying down, or asleep, or when moving, reclining, eating, reading, and reciting, they should bring to mind the 6 recollections, remaining aware of their respective qualities. This was the 2nd chapter of the Noble Subāhu's questions.